According to a recent American study, nearly every dog in the US has at least one behavioral issue. But the most surprising part is that most of those issues aren't really the dog's fault. Turns out that all dogs have this specific set of rules for how they expect their world to work. And they expect you to follow them as well. But when we don't follow these rules, dogs notice. Some withdraw, some misbehave, and some just quietly give up. Understanding these hidden rules could change how your dog sees you, starting today. Rule number 1, avoid leaning over dogs. Most humans don't think twice about bending over a dog to greet them, but for dogs, especially ones that are anxious or don't know you well yet, this can be an intimidating move. Leaning over is a body language they associate with dominance or threat. Take a moment to really think about it from their point of view. Imagine if a creature just so much taller than you just leaned over you like that, casting their shadow over you. That's Lovecraftian's levels of scary. No wonder they don't dig it. The San Diego Humane Society explains that instead of approaching dogs head-on and looming over them, it's better to turn sideways, crouch low, and let the dog make the first move. Rule number 2, don't pat the head without warning. I've been making these videos for a while now, so I'm familiar with this one. But I do have to admit, when I first learned this fact, I couldn't quite accept it was real. But your precious pooch just isn't the biggest fan of being patted on the head. We're so accustomed to patting dogs on the head as a sign of affection. But for many dogs, especially rescues or those not accustomed to frequent human handling, this feels more like a surprise attack than a friendly hello. If you're thinking to yourself, hold on, I pat my dog on the head and he's fine with it, you're actually kind of proving my point. They are fine with it, in the sense that they tolerate it, because they love you, but they don't like it. Think of it as having a weird aunt who always buys you the same present every Christmas, and you don't like that present because it's some bizarre chocolate you don't like. But you accept it every year because you don't want to hurt her feelings. That's what your dog is doing when they tolerate your head patting. The act of reaching over a dog's head can activate their defense response. If you want to touch them in a way that's more their bag, try going for the chest, the side, or even under the chin. Let them see your hand and decide whether they want to lean in. Rule number 3, respect their resting spots. When a dog finds a cozy, quiet corner or snuggles up in their crate, that's their version of closing the door to their room. Interrupting that can be understandably jarring and stressful. Imagine if every time you settle into bed for the night, some mysterious creature burst through the door and demanded your attention. It would be irritating, and it's the same for your dog. They just can't shut a door and lock themselves away from the rest of the world. Andrea Arden, a certified dog trainer, emphasizes that giving dogs consistent, undisturbed rest helps them self-regulate and feel secure. It's also a way for them to decompress, especially in busy households. It sounds mad, but dogs lead busy lives with all the play sessions and walks. A chance to shake off the day and chill out on their own is just as crucial for them as it is for you. Many a pet parent to a precious pet might unintentionally pull them away from the safe space to socialize or play. But rest is just as crucial to their mental health as exercise. So if your dog is curled up in their resting spot at choice, it's best to leave them undisturbed. They will rise when they are ready. Rule number 4, let them finish sniffing. To a dog, sniffing isn't a delay. It's the whole point of the walk. That's how they catch up on their neighborhood gossip. Who was here? What did they eat? Are there any new dogs in town? It's their version of a WhatsApp group chat, as they walk around sniffing everything and anything. It may be a touch irritating, and hey, you're not a bad person if you're annoyed when your precious pooch does this. It can drastically slow down the walk, and you might have items at the house that you urgently need to retrieve. But they're not just sniffing for sniffing's sake. They're reconnecting with their environment in the only way they can. Cutting them off mid-sniff might feel like yanking someone's book away mid-chapter. It interrupts a crucial part of their environmental processing. Additionally, sniffing has also been linked to reducing stress. Researchers from the University of Pisa found that dogs allowed to sniff more during walks had lower heart rates and showed fewer signs of anxiety afterwards. So within reason, let your dog sniff as much as possible when walking. There are limits. I know that if I had never pulled my dog away from sniffing, I would have gone on my first walk with him and then never come home since. We'd still be out there now sniffing away, but as much as you embrace their desire to sniff. Rule number 5, avoid direct eye contact. Humans use eye contact as a way of bonding, right? We look into the eyes of those we love. In many countries, it's considered rude not to look someone in the eyes when talking to them. But dogs, not so much. Direct, prolonged eye contact is often interpreted as a threat or challenge in dog language. A soft gaze is fine, but a long, hard stare can make them feel cornered, especially if it comes from someone unfamiliar or shortly after you had to tell them off for chewing a chair leg or peeing on grandma. Sorry for the gross image, just making sure you're still listening. A story was posted on Reddit about a dog that suddenly stopped responding to its owner's usual bedtime command. The reason? You won't see it coming. The owner had washed the dog's bedding and crate cover. The smell had changed. The scent that made it feel like a safe nest was gone. And the dog stared from a distance, hesitant. No words were spoken, but the confusion was apparent. That's how tuned in dogs are to the things we overlook, such as scent, body posture, and yes, eye contact. The owner kept looking at the dog, trying to comfort him and reassure him. But just being stared at only confused the poor dog more. Rule number 6, use calm praise instead of loud exclamations. We love our dogs, and we want them to know it. However, some dogs interpret loud praise, clapping, or sudden cheers as overstimulation, especially those of a more sensitive nature. It's so easy to get excited and yell with joy when your dog does something good. I have to admit, I do this all the time. I had a few issues training my black Labrador Striker in the early days. So when he started sitting, I would squeal, "Good boy," louder than the lead singer of a metal band. But the American Kennel Club notes that while some dogs can learn to enjoy applause and excitement, others naturally recoil at those sounds. Soft, calm praise combined with gentle petting or a treat can go a long way compared to loud vocal celebrations. Some dogs show their appreciation through tail wags and licks. Others just sit quietly next to you. Matching their energy can make them feel more secure. Rule number 7, respect their scent map. That's right, your dog has something called a scent map, which is a weird name, I admit, but it's the smell version of a Sherlock Holmes mind palace. Because dogs receive the world mainly through their sense of smell, their scent map is basically a map in their head of the world around them based on not what they see, but on how they smell. It's how they determine their location, identify who is around, and gauge their emotions. So when a human goes on a cleaning spree and suddenly erases all their markings, it can be pretty disorienting. Imagine if every room in your house magically swapped around. That's basically what happens to your dog when you go on a deep clean. Dogs mark their space not just to claim territory, but to feel anchored. When their scent is gone, you might notice an increase in their anxiety. I found an interesting example of this in a story a pet parent shared online. A dog refused to go to bed in her crate after her blanket and bedding were washed. It wasn't the bedding itself. It was the scent memory that had disappeared. To us, it's laundry, but to her, bless her, it was home. Rule number 8, don't try to hug. This one's tough because we show affection through hugs, but dogs don't interpret a hug the same way. Many tolerate it but don't enjoy it. And listen, you're not a bad person for hugging your dog. I slip up on this one all the time. I find it so hard to resist hugging Striker. It's just my instinct as a human to wrap my arms around those I love. However, wrapping your arms around a dog can restrict their movement, which in dog language is perceived as a dominance move. Some dogs freeze or stiffen. Others might try to squirm away. Essentially, a big fleshy prison has enveloped them. Dr. Stanley Coren, a canine psychologist expert, has noted that hugging can be a source of stress for many dogs, especially if they're already feeling nervous. If a dog leans into you or rests against you, that's their version of affection. But let them choose it. They'll always love physical contact with you if they get to lead. Rule number 9, don't overcrowd their face. Dogs don't generally enjoy faces in their face. Whether it's for a selfie or a smooch, getting too close can make them feel uncomfortable or even trapped. They might turn away, lick their lips, or yawn. These are all classic signs of discomfort in dogs. These are calming signs, their way of saying, "Whoa, too much, too fast. One step at a time, buddy." Giving them space to initiate closeness lets them feel more in control of the interaction. Rule number 10, let them decompress after stress. Whether it's after a vet visit, a loud thunderstorm, or an encounter with another dog, some dogs need alone time to process stress. Trying to cuddle them right away or getting back to routines can make things worse. Instead, give them a quiet space, maybe a chew toy, and let them reset at their own pace. Trainers often recommend what's called a cool down period. Just like humans need time after a big moment, dogs do too. By the way, did you know that most dogs really dislike head pets? If that surprised you, just wait. There are things they dislike even more. Watch this next.